switch it to the side like this anymore.
1370 WLTH and on the FM dial, 92.7
Right, I'm about to start.
W224EA, Gary, Indiana.
30 seconds.
Hey guys, we're live here on YouTube and on Facebook. Buenas tardes.
And
¿Cómo
well,
están?
10 seconds.
the streaming's working,
No.
right? No?
Nope.
That's why I
And
said
you
buenas
are.
Hey, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están todos ustedes? Feliz viernes. Happy Friday to you guys. Freedom Friday, that's right, here on WLTH, AM 1370, and also 92.7 FM, and we're live on our YouTube and on our Facebook. Feliz tarde. How you doing over there, Juanito?
And we are also live on 1370 AM and 92.7 FM.
Did I just say that?
No.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You want to hit replay? Did you guys hear me say that? I think so.
That's on the radio, not
In
streaming.
your ears, man. In your ears. Well, I'm excited to be here. Why? You know why I'm excited to be here?
We're always here on Fridays, most of the time.
I didn't say where. I said here. Meaning here on Earth.
Yeah.
Excited. I have high expectations.
And this is not just any Friday, it's Friday the 13th.
It's
Oh
a
my
special
God.
day. It's the best day. Friday the 13th. I am not superstitious. I just know it is a good day. Didn't you hear what I said? It's a good day. Friday the 13th. It is a good day. It's a good God day. Thank you, Lord, for today. The views expressed by the host and the callers of this show not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio Management, owners and sponsors, and advertisers. Well, it is a little bit after 5 o'clock, and what a beautiful day we've had today. Nice and sunny. Yes, one. Tap. Have you ever walked tiptoe? Do you ever tiptoe? One. Yes?
No.
I
Oh,
can
yeah,
tell.
probably.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm hearing you walk. We have some very high sensitive mics, you know, dude. So we're gonna dive right in. We have a special guest today, and we want to thank her. We finally made it happen today for her to be here and educate some of us. And some of you may know who she is. Some of you may not know who she is. But some of you may know who she is and not know what she's doing. So, the cat is out the bag today.
Yes.
Drum roll, Scott. We have Miss Haneefah Khaaliq here live in the flesh in the studio here on WLTH Radio. And I'm just humbled and honored to be called her friend. At least I think I'm her friend. I know she's my friend, but you know, she's doing some amazing things, and you guys are going to hear about who she is and what she's all about and what she's done. Good evening. How you doing, Sister Haneefah?
I am doing just wonderful. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and for those of you that are listening, you can ask questions on Facebook or call in at 219-885-1371. We do have some things that we want to make sure that she gets out here on the air, and then we can open the lines in the last 10 minutes of the show, if you will. First of all, I am getting to know who you are.
Yes.
1, as a woman, 2, as a friend, 3, as who you are and what you're doing out here in the community, in the region as a whole. And I want to thank you for what you're doing. I know this is that she is a powerhouse. She is the director of the Human Relations Commission here in Gary, Indiana. But let's just give it to her, and she will speak a little more in depth about who she is.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Eve, and thank you, WLTH, for having me here. What a glorious evening to be here, and to my fellow Hoosiers out there who are listening, thank you so much for tuning in and just being interested in the show today. So yes, I am Haneefah Khaaliq, and I am running for United States Senate in 2022. Although it's a ways off, I'm just right now trying to garner support throughout the state, and that's why I'm here. So originally from Chicago, 20 years here in the state, Hoosier, longtime Hoosier, love Indiana, In fact, my statement that I've been going around saying, I'm Indiana, you're Indiana, together we're Indiana.
That's right.
Because we do represent the Hoosier State, and we are here in the house, in the building. Graduated from Lake Central High School, right in St. John, Indiana. Went to IUPUI, became a public school teacher.
All right.
Went to Valpo Law, studied law there, civil rights, and became a lawyer there. After that, like you had stated earlier in the program, took on running the Civil Rights Agency, the Human Relations Commission here. I'm privileged to be the director for a wonderful agency that processes and files all charges of discrimination for free. It is my pleasure to be a service to the public.
And that you are, and I thank you for even spearheading, that area as far as the human relations. Has that been a challenge for you? Let me just ask you real quick.
Well, I don't know any directorship that anyone can take on that doesn't have its challenges, but we pull together as a team. The staff is great at the Human Relations Commission. The commission is awesome. And of course, we have a supportive mayor. Even the new incoming mayor has been supportive. And so the support and the love is all around, that we feel our partnerships are very strong with the EEOC and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And we work every day to ensure that everyone is being treated fairly in the city. It's an honor. Yes.
Wow, and that is, I think, what everyone looks for, is someone to be honest about things and not work for thyself, but for the community.
For the community.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So, I know you're highly qualified. After seeing our president, which doesn't seek much qualification to be a president other than to be, 34, 35 years old?
35.
35, and that's pretty much it. What are your qualifications? You mentioned a few.
Yes.
You're a VU also.
Yes. So, with regard to the qualifications, and I'm glad you brought that up, Eve, because usually when I tell people I'm running for United States Senate, the response is utter shock and disbelief. And I'm not sure why, because there are only 3 requirements for the office, and I'm going to tell them to you right now.
Okay.
The first one is that you be at least 30 years old, that you're a United States citizen, you have been a United States citizen for 9 years, and that you are living in the state that you want to represent. Those are the only qualifications, requirements to the job. Now, with that having been said, I'm 36 years of age. I've been in the state 20-something years here, and I was born here. So I've got all the qualifications for this job. The only other qualification I think you need is public service. And I have 20 years plus of public service and volunteerism throughout the community. I've been an AmeriCorps volunteer. I've been out in the community serving the people even up until now, providing free civil rights education to people. But aside from that, working with women, working with children, trying to get felons jobs, working with the Department of Workforce Development. These are the qualifications that we need to be looking for in our representatives. And the problem is that we're not doing that. Businessmen, millionaires, these are people who are out of touch, and these are the people who are in office right now. And if the people will just stand up and realize and speak out and become more present and understand, nowhere does it say you have to be a millionaire. Nowhere does it say that you have to be older than 30 years old. So people's expectations are part of my campaign is just education, okay? Just educating people and letting them understand, and it's okay, because I'm, once a teacher, always a teacher. Even though you go into other professions, I'm always going to be that educator, okay? So I don't have a problem with breaking it down for people, but I need for Hoosiers to understand that there is no greater qualification that a representative can have for any city, town, state, other than public service. This is what they need to have.
Now, there are some people that always ask, well, what have you done for me lately? Some people have seen you, know who you are, and some have not, because you're looking at the entire state now, right?
Right, entire state.
So what are you doing to make sure that you're reaching out to the entire state?
All right. So this year kicked off my campaign, and my goal this year was simply name recognition, so that people would understand that I was running and talk to as many people about that as possible. Next year is going to be a physical presence year for me. I will be going around, although I understand 2020 is a presidential year. I believe that 2022 is a greater year that's on the horizon. And so in 2020, I will be going around to not the 9 congressional districts that are here in Indiana and having town halls. I want to hear from people about, we're going to talk about the presidential election. I'm going to have a chance to introduce myself to these groups in these places. And we're going to talk, we're going to have conversation, and I'm also going to get a chance to share my stance on the issues, which there are many of them.
There are many of them,
Yes.
and I'm almost like you seem to be a very strong woman,
Yes.
strong
Thank
backbone. But let me ask you 2 questions.
Sure.
Why 2022 and why that office?
Okay, so why 2022? Well, first of all, you know, in my experience, I'll just take it back to food. I don't know anything that anyone can ever eat and is satisfied with that took only 2 seconds to make. Okay, it usually takes time to develop the recipe, put the ingredients in that you need, and then you put that thing in the oven or whatever you do with it, and the slow cooking is what brings out all the flavors and the goodness in whatever it is that you're digesting. So that's what I need. I need the time. So the 2022 gives me enough time to garner the support that I need. Take my time, go around the state, strategically put things together, and then the office, of course, United States Senate. I chose that office. So you know, there's local, there's local offices, state offices, city offices, and the federal offices. I am so interested in federal issues, right? Issues, international issues, issues that affect the country, the United States, and the American people. So that's why I chose the United States Senate. I also get the unique opportunity to be involved in nominations and also treaties and bills. As a legislator, you're able to introduce bills in both parts of Congress. But the United States Senate gives you a unique opportunity to take part in nominations and also treaties and bills, and also working very closely with the president.
Nice. Any questions for Ms. Khaaliq?
Well, I know you talked about many things right now, and you're a brand new candidate, but I think one of the things that is important is diversity.
Sure.
Making sure that the next senator in this state represents all the people here. In terms of the Hispanic population in this state of ours, what are some of the, well, immigration is a major issue nationwide as far as what the president's doing and what people in Congress may or not agree with. What is your stance as it relates to the immigration status here in this country?
Okay, so I think what we're dealing with right now is a mess, okay? And what's worse is we have an administration that seems reluctant to get at the heart of the issue and what is going on. Now, a couple things here. First of all, as a United States Senator, I will be able to collect, I will be in a unique position to create what I'm going to call a very special data system, okay, where I have a system set up that collects information from people all over the state that I'm going to then have compiled and placed into data that people can visually see, put into visual data, so that people can see what Hoosiers are feeling. Now, how does that relate to immigration? Well, first of all, being data-driven is important, okay?
Right.
We have to know what's in the state. We have to know what's going on in the state. What I'd like to do is take that information and create legislation, work on legislation that creates a safe place for immigrants, undocumented immigrants, to come out of hiding. Working very closely with immigration, and experts in the field on how we can create legislation that makes it safe to bring these undocumented immigrants out of hiding, that essentially protects them, right? Places a cloak around them of protection from them being deported immediately, which is, what is happening. They're not getting the rights that they need.
Right.
So that's one of the first things that I'm going to be working on very closely with, like I said, the experts in the field, other legislators, to see what we can come up with and introduce that would make it safe for undocumented immigrants to come out and know that they will not be deported just for being honest, right? Just simply being honest and saying, I'm here, this is what's going on, you've got that cloak of protection around you. I want to give that to undocumented immigrants.
And that is a big task to take on.
Yeah.
As you know, the issues that are happening right now, and I commend you for even speaking of that and reaching out to our community. But I know that there's a language barrier there. There's something that you've done that I have yet to see a politician do, but the listeners don't know. But what is it that you're going to do to reach to that population?
So I am first of all, it's a basic thing, and that's just having a translator, right? Someone that can communicate my message to the Hispanic community. There are first-time English language learners, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot of them.
Right, there's a lot of them, and they simply can't get the message. So I have to have someone a part of my team, and I've done that with you. I hope to, I will be implementing that in all of my, throughout my campaign.
And I appreciate that because people may be saying, but they're not able to vote, but they have kids, don't they?
Yes.
That they can influence
Yes.
and educate
Yes.
and talk about.
Yes.
Right? I mean, in case of those that are listening here on Nuestra Comunidad, we have a candidate that's running for the U.S. Senate in 2022, and that's Ms. Haneefah Khaaliq. If you're just logging in or signing on or tuning in your radio as you're driving home, she's been asking, I actually proposed to her, hey, why don't you come on the radio and talk about it? But we need to reach out to our Latinos because now they've been waking up. They've been awakened.
Yes.
Thank you, Trump. They've been awakened to let's educate ourselves now. Let's become American citizens. So by the time you're running, we're going to have a lot more American citizens.
Wonderful. And I want to create more because once we put together legislation that protects them for being honest and saying I'm here, we're going to put them on the pathway to citizenship and give them the right to vote. Awesome. And that is what is going to make a difference.
Awesome. And right now, the struggle that I've been dealing with in my field, Ms. Haneefah, is that many of my people do not have their identification, the proper identification, and or even a driver's license, if you will. They want one, but it's not been given that opportunity. And I've spoken to some political people that are in the arena now to bring a bill about it, to speak about it, because Chicago's got it, and many other states have been doing it, but
California,
it has yet to
New York.
be. Yeah. And so, what are you proposing for that?
So, a couple things. You had mentioned reaching out to those representatives that are already, they've already been voted in. And they're probably, kind of not giving you the attention or inquiring in the way that they should be. So this is an area that I want to explore, and part of it is getting experts in the field and understanding the way the legislation works. So part of the reason you're probably getting that pushback is because, so driving right is a privilege. It's a privilege, not a right. So it's something that, you've got to earn. And even if you do give driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants. There's a whole plethora of stuff, right, that they still don't have privileges to. They still can't vote, they can't buy a firearm, they can't board a plane. And my concern about it is that it gives the appearance of privilege, of a privilege, right? But there's still so much more that they need. So, you know, because we need them to be active citizens and we need them to be able to have the right to vote and all these types of things.
They're paying taxes.
Oh, right. So, I have questions about that, such as the information that's on the driver's license. So if you've got your name, your address, and other stuff that's on there, but at some point, there's going to be some things that aren't traceable, right? That, you know, if you're stopped or what have you, or whatever, someone is not going to be able to look up. And the only concern that I have for that is that when American citizens are stopped, they can have all that stuff looked up, but the undocumented immigrant will not have that stuff looked up. So I have concerns with that, but that doesn't mean that I'm not open to establishing that, learning more about it, and getting, like I said, those experts in the field to see what exactly we can come up to give them a driver's license at. Because if I'm a police officer and I pull you up and there's certain things I can't look up, then I'm going to know something is up, right? Mm-hmm. So the very thing that's giving you the privilege could also be a marker, right? So it's an area that we need to explore, but it's something that I'm definitely for and want to look more into. Yep.
Good. And also, off the air, we've had several conversations, and we're talking about, you mentioned the pathway to citizenship and making it safer nationwide. How do you intend on doing that, making it safer for our immigrants? Right.
Part of it is simply sending out a message that we're all immigrants.
Come on.
Right?
Well,
I mean, we are.
Well,
and if you're not a Native American, you're an immigrant, or your ancestors were immigrants, right? So part of that is just recognizing that we are not so far removed, and we need to be a welcoming nation, right? Not a welcoming city, not a welcoming town. We need to be a welcoming nation. And so part of making things safer is just simply the putting out that awareness and making people understand that, and also putting legislation in place that protects individuals, like I mentioned earlier, making it safer for people to come out and being rewarded for just simply being honest. You're going to get a shroud of protection around you now, and also be placed on the path to citizenship, granted that you meet certain criteria.
Right. Any questions, Juan, on your end?
Well, I think everything what you said is correct. I think another point is the undocumented individuals that are in this country. I apologize. A lot of them work here and pay taxes.
Oh, yes.
But what's the issue with that?
So the issue is that they're paying hundreds of billions of dollars into the United States economy.
That's a fact, by the way.
And they're not able to get even a small percentage of that, even after they become permanent residents. That is an issue. So that is another thing that I intend to look into very strongly, to see, you know, if it's not even just a small percentage of what's coming in, or if it's to decrease the number of years required for permanent residents to be able to access some of those benefits, they should be able to access those benefits. I'm sorry, but if you are bringing in and contributing to Social Security, you're contributing to Medicare, Medicaid, you're contributing to SNAP, why can't you get some of those benefits? So that is definitely another thing that I will be putting on my agenda. You better believe it.
Well, thank you for saying that. If you must, we must go for a pause. We're going to go for some commercials right now, so don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these. I'm starting to hear that out of you. Minister out of you. I'm ready to do some preaching. I can hear it. I don't know if you feel it, but I can hear it. Yeah, here she comes.
Abrirás oportunidades de mejores empleos, obtendrás mayores ingresos y tendrás la oportunidad de continuar tus estudios y obtener un título profesional. El Excel Center es un high school gratuito para adultos con clases que se ajustarán a tu propio horario. Te graduarás con un diploma de high school del nivel Core 40 de Indiana, así como créditos universitarios o certificado industrial. Cuentan también con certificados servicios de guardería sin costo adicional en el mismo edificio. Te prepararán un plan académico individual y tendrás un asesor o life coach que te servirá de guía para llegar al éxito. Se llegó el momento de terminar lo que pensaste cuando niño. Hazlo ya en Self Center. Las clases se inician pronto, así que inscríbete hoy mismo por medio de su página de internet en selfcenterhs.org. No nos falles.
Yeah, because people are watching over there. Hey, my Facebookers and our YouTubers, 219-885-1371.
I'm a probation officer in the work with Joyce. There's a lot I can't do politically because I work for the courts. But I can still attend school board meetings, council meetings, this and that. I can attend debates among many people, but I can't go to any function that has to do with only one candidate. I can't buy fundraising tickets. I cannot go out and knock on doors for any candidate. What I can do, I do. What I can't because people don't fit my
So my interpreter, yeah, she was so intrigued. Oh yeah, my interpreter, yeah. We're putting her in the field to get her training. That's wonderful. In fact, I was telling her if the crowd gets too large, I already told her. You might be in one room, and no, I told her I already was talking right there. I told her, I said I'm gonna. I have a few others that work at the I am not able to find somewhere else. Yeah. So she's getting this awesome. Yeah. I gave her my card at the time. I didn't have my cards ordered yet, but I just got. So now I can pass out. Yeah. I'm gonna give it all to you. So what I did was tag and invited the politicians to listen.
10 seconds. And you are back.
All right. I don't know about that music, but I thought I was going to fall asleep. Although I love that music, don't get me wrong. I love jazz, smooth jazz and whatnot. But anyway, welcome back. Bienvenidos aquí a Nuestra Comunidad No Residente. Tenemos una poderosa mujer aquí a mi izquierda, a su derecha de ustedes, que está corriendo como candidata para el Senado de Estados Unidos. Y está aquí temprano porque la elección no es hasta el 2022. Pero estamos aquí para escuchar qué es lo que quiere hacer, lo que va a hacer y lo que está haciendo. I'm just reiterating who you are. You're here. You're running for the U.S. Senate in 2022, and we're here to learn about what you're doing, what you want to do, and what you will be doing in 2022. So, Juan, we were just talking off the air real quick about some of the things that she's empowering others, and I like that you are empowering our young.
Yes.
And yesterday, kudos to the Crossing School of Business and Entrepreneurship. We had an event that was so successful. It was an awesome event, and we just want to say thank you for also attending it yesterday. And it was very heartwarming. And I do want to say that when there's anyone that is running for politics, and there's some youth out there that like to get their feet wet and learn about campaigns, now is the time. You find someone that's running for office, such as Ms. Haneefah Khaaliq, and you know, get under her wing, and you'll have that experience firsthand, right?
Yes.
What do you feel about the youth? We're talking about education being so bad right now. Where do you see yourself with education, public and or non-public?
Right. So, in regards to education and what's going on in the classroom, and I feel that I'm qualified to speak on that because I was a public school teacher, and that's what I studied at IUPUI. So, you know, in the classroom, what's going on right now is I feel like a lot of real life experiences are missing. You know, I was the kind of teacher that really tried to bring whatever I was talking about or teaching, make it real life to the students. I think that is the best way for them to learn. To that end, with regard to politics, you're right. A lot of what's going on, you know, in the political world is not being discussed, you know, in the classrooms, and it's not being experienced. It's not. It's not being. yeah, it's not being experienced. So when you have someone like me here, you know, they get to see someone who is really, really an average person, right? You know, I'm not a multi-million, I'm not a multi-millionaire. I don't own a multi-million-dollar company.
Not yet.
Not yet. You know, I'm an outsider, right? And what's sad is that, you know, social studies, which is supposed to be, I think, the subject that, you know, you learn your history and about politics and things like that. It's not discussed what the qualifications are. It's not discussed more in the classroom about how the founding fathers intended for the average American to be able to run for these offices, okay? The teachers, the doctors, the lawyers, the United States steelworkers, the volunteers, these are the people in your communities that were intended to occupy offices in the United States Congress as well as our state Congresses, okay? Now, I was talking to someone the other day. They did not even realize that the United States Senate is a part of Congress. That is an issue. That is an issue. When you're telling me that, I'm wondering what in the world is going on in the social studies department in your school.
Come on.
So, you know, and then the other thing is that our youth need to understand that these positions, they're not far removed from them.
Right.
They're right there up close and in person with them, and they can do it. You know, so I was very intrigued by the young lady that spoke yesterday at the Crossings event, stating, you know, how she had overcome so many challenges and that she had an intention to run for Congress. I think that is awesome, given that, you know, is sometimes the least bit of what's on our youth's mind, which I'm not sure why, because they're so outspoken and they're so ready to go, and they just need someone to tell them that it's right there at the doorstep for them.
That's right.
It's right there at the doorstep, and all they need to do is the legwork and the footwork of going around the state, shaking hands and talking to people, and, you know, sharing their stance on the issues just like I am, and getting the support that they need. Yes.
Yeah. And we're talking about a high school student speaking this way already.
Yes. I was very impressed.
Very much so.
True.
Yes, yes. And I mentioned something right before we went to the commercial break about how people are paying a lot of taxes and no benefits.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What do we do about that? I mean, Uncle Sam is loving us.
Right.
Don't want us here.
Right.
But loving us.
You know, and I'm laughing, but it's really not funny, right? Because
true, right?
this is hundreds of billions of dollars that we're receiving from undocumented immigrants. And like I said, even once you become a permanent resident, there's still a certain amount of years you have to wait before you get to tap into it, which, you know, what we have to realize about these benefits and all these things like that is they're supposed to be temporary, right? So it's just a temporary thing that you're just requesting and you can't get it. I don't think that's fair, and I'm going to fight to see that undocumented immigrants as well as legal residents receive or are able to at least apply for these things and get considered for them. Yes.
Now, I want to make sure, my brothers and sisters, we are in a diverse world, in a diverse community. We're not just going to be speaking on Latinos and what can she do for us. And because I always ask that question, because that's what I am. I came in as a legal resident, not illegally. I'm not against that. Well, I'm not saying that I want people to break the law, because people misconstrue that. I'm not saying to break the law, but what are your intentions for those that are American citizens? I want to make sure you listeners and viewers don't think that I'm just a one-sided. You know, we love all, and you seem to be a very people person. Yes. Very lovable person.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I just didn't tell you that before.
Okay. So for American citizens, so as you know, and we discussed earlier, I am the Civil Rights Human Relations Director here in the city of Gary. It is my privilege and honor to occupy such a role. So every day I am privileged to serve individuals in this area and surrounding communities which are being discriminated against, right? And it is no laughing matter, okay? We're seeing discrimination upon women, minorities, people who are disabled, other abled individuals, and it is no laughing matter. Okay, so part of what I do is to allow those charges to be filed, but I also do training and education throughout the state to employers and to housing providers and people all over to ensure that they understand what the law says with regard to being fair. Okay, so what do I want to do for American citizens and with regard to that? I would like to expand the civil rights law to hold more people accountable for being fair. Yes, and that is one of the things that I will be working on. There are certain requirements that you have to have in order to be able to file a charge of discrimination, and I want to expand those requirements, making it harder for those who want to discriminate and for those who think that that is okay to do. People are being particularly discriminated against in the hiring process, although they have the experience, they have the skills, they have everything that the employer is looking for and asking for, and yet they are not hired for the job. That is wrong. We're coming after it. I'm coming after it.
Wow. You hear that passion back there over here? Want any questions for her before she does any closing remarks and tell us how to reach her, where to find her?
Well, just going back real quickly to the immigration issue, have you or will you at some point in the future go to the border?
So yes, that is absolutely going to be one of the things that's on my list to do, because I tell you, there's nothing better than experiencing something firsthand.
Right.
And I said that earlier when I was talking about even giving students real life experiences. You can talk about it, you can read about it, but if you're actually there, then you get the picture. Okay? So that will absolutely be one of the things that I will do. Absolutely.
Very good.
Thank you for asking.
Any last closing remarks you want to tell our listeners? You are the U.S. Senator. Now what? And where can we find you?
Okay, so now what? Well, like I said in the beginning of the call, I'm just garnering support throughout the state. So I don't yet have a website built, but I'm building my social media platform up. I've just been very picky with what pictures I want on my website. That's what's slowing me down.
That's a woman thing, I think.
But my social media platforms are up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I think I'm even on TikTok.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
So I need people to follow me, view my stance on the issues, connect with me there. Also, one of the things that I want to be is accessible, to people. So my phone number's on there. If you have a message or something you want to reach out, send it over to me. We'll chit chat. I love talking with people. I love talking with Hoosiers. So don't wait until 2022 to reach out and follow me and like me. I don't have the patience to wait until 2022 to start talking to people.
Has the state of Indiana ever had a female senator?
No.
So you'll be making history.
I would be, yes.
Yes. Awesome.
I would be making history just by getting on the ballot. How about
just
that?
by getting on the ballot. That is great.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You guys heard it from this young, powerful woman. And, I say young because I'm young too, and she's younger than me. So, yeah, I'm young, I'm telling you. Any last minute remark? Anything you want to say out there to the audience? You have 1 minute left.
I just want to say thank you, WLTH. Thank you, Eve. Thank you, and Juan. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lovely evening to be on your show, and I thank you so much for inviting me.
So stay tuned for more with Haneefah Khaaliq. She's going to have pan dulce con Haneefah Khaaliq, because she's going to have some Spanish-speaking interpreters there, so that our Spanish-speaking viewers, listeners, residents more than anything, and citizens to know what she's talking about.
Thank you.
All right. With that being said, Juan, what do you got over there? Oh, you got
the only thing I got is, what we got, right?
Go ahead and say it.
So, and you know what? Let me qualify this here too, because we should be saying this, and we always.
It is a paid advertisement, in case you guys didn't know. Okay.
Yes. But just to make it fair, of course, is that Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana does not support or endorse any candidate for elected or appointed office. On that note, attention Medicare recipients, this is Juan M. Andrade with Eve Gomez with an invitation for you. Are you turning 65 or are on Medicare? Araceli Corona is a licensed insurance agent, and she is also bilingual and is presenting a series of upcoming Medicare health plan seminars at People's Bank locations throughout Northwest Indiana and at the Hammond Sportsplex. Ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is call 219-801-1276 or 773-968-6619 now to RSVP or for more information.
And we'll be right back after these commercials.
Mi nombre es Roselín, soy de México, Michoacán. Yo vine acá en el 2012.
Meet Rosaline. She's from Mexico and came here in 2012. She began working, but wanted to expand her knowledge and coordinate opportunities.
When I came here and I started working, I did the lesson. For me, I decided to enroll to Excel Center. The teachers, they're amazing.
It wasn't easy. She had to learn a new language and stay motivated to achieve her goals.
I was scared. I didn't know English per se. You have to believe in yourself. I can do this.
And she did. Rosaline graduated and completed her citizenship on the same day.
Thank you, Woodville, for providing Excel Center so I can follow my dreams.
Now's the time to develop your career at the Excel Center, a free high school for adults. Earn a diploma with flexible class schedules and free childcare. Enroll today at excelcenterhs.org.
Steve's Tire and Service Center reminds motorists every 6 days a tow truck driver is killed while helping stranded motorists on the road. While driving, avoid distractions like texting. Keep a lookout for tow truck drivers. They are our first responders on the road. Driving cautiously may save a life. That's courtesy of Steve's Tire and Service Center. For complete auto repair and tire service, call 815-942-5080. They're equipped with the right staff to take care of your car. Call 815-942-5080 Street in Morris.
Now in Northwest Indiana, we're proud to introduce Agape, a futuristic transportation service owned and operated by Emmanuel Smith. Emmanuel Smith has more than 20 years of experience in the transportation business. So if you need a ride to get to the airport or any other points of interest, call Agape at 219-588-8548. Once again, that's Agape at 219-588-8548. Agape will provide you with a prompt, convenient, and courteous service. Call Agape at 219-588-8548.
brother? Who Valley?
Marcos Valley.
Marcos Valley? Like Valley from
Valley.
Sunny in the Alley?
And you are back.
Juan, what do you have over there?
What do I have over there?
What kind?
Oh, well,
Ay, ay, ay. You're a little slow there,
wait,
Juan.
what? Yesterday was the yearly annual fundraising banquet for the crossing, and I know I invited a lot of public officials. I know
That
I
makes two
invited
of
the
us.
press. I know I
That makes
invited
two of
some
us.
people. I did get, and someone who didn't even make it, a donation. I'm not even going to say
There's
how
a
much.
lot. There's a lot of people that
From
are donating, and we want to
someone,
say thank you.
Maybe I met once, and that is the mayor of Whiting. He was unable to make the event yesterday, but he was kind enough to send
Well, if
in
that's
a
the case,
donation.
can I tell you something? If that's the case, then let me bring up my list.
No, but here's the
To
thing.
say how many people said that they've never donated and are donating because they're like, well, we can't make it, but can we make a donation? It could be a long list. We would just want to generally thank everybody
Right. So for those,
that was there and that were not there but are also supporting
but
the
I do
cause.
want to say this: the option was to be either a table sponsor or a corporate sponsor, and
Or a
for
donor,
those that were
period.
either one or the other, thank you very much. And you know what? There was no ticket price to attend the banquet, which means you could still go there,
And enjoy
not
yourself.
pay for a ticket, but hear and listen to the program and listen to the students that spoke. And then hopefully at the end, when there was a call for donations, you could at least made some kind of donation there at the crossing banquet. But by not coming, hopefully, like I said, I did videotape it, and maybe there might be an opportunity to put that videotape on the crossing web with a call about, you know what, you can still donate, but before you donate, watch the videotape of the event yesterday, and then you might change your mind and videotape, because the crossing does incredible things. And maybe you just need to hear and see for yourself at this point the videotape of the crossing, and then
Well,
you might
here, even better. Go to the YouTube and go watch their videos because there's many of them there from our students
I'm
and
talking
our
about
youth.
yesterday though.
Go watch the live. Go watch the live. Credits to Nuestra Comunidad and WI. But you know what? If you feel that you don't need to watch anything, but you want to donate, you don't have to wait and watch anything. Just go ahead and donate. Go to crossingeducation.com and just let it be known that it's for the Northwest Indiana campuses from East Chicago and Hammond. And kudos to our students. Love you guys. And they were blessed to have tickets. But speaking of tickets, we're giving away tickets to Scrooge real quick. Next caller to 1-988-513-71. We have tickets for the 1 p.m. show and the 5:30 p.m. show for tomorrow. And the Scrooge, a Bah Humbug musical, is state-of-the-art show. It's better than Broadway. I promise you that. So call in 219-885-1371. Also, a big shout out to my brother Cleveland. Cleveland, we want to thank you for blessing WLTH here. We thank you for always refreshing our palates, if you know what I mean. Thank you so much. So, 219-885-1371 if you want a pair of tickets for tomorrow for 1 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. Estamos regalando boletos para la obra de Scrooge, a Bah Humbug. Es una obra musical muy bonita, toca el corazón. Estamos regalando boletos ahora. Llamen al 219-885-1371. Yeah. 49 minutes after the hour. It is Friday. Some students are coming home. From where? From the universities, from college. Welcome back for those of you who are back, and we welcome you back for those that are coming back home this weekend. I am so happy and so elated that I'll get to be with my kids for Christmas.
All 20 of them.
No, I have more than 20 actually. Yeah, how many are in the crossing? 140 something. Not counting my two. Yeah. So the campus is growing. We have a full entire building in Hammond, Indiana. And I thank all of those that were there yesterday. I thank you for everyone that showed up. And for those that didn't show up, I thank you for the donations as well. It was like, to me, like a family reunion to me yesterday. You can't help but to love on our kids. And if you feel that you need to label them still after yesterday, shame on you.
Eve, I don't know this for a fact, but I did have a gentleman that called me on the phone about the council meeting in Hammond that's coming up, I guess, this Monday, which would be December the 16th, and about there possibly being a call for the council to pass some kind of resolution or something as it relates to support for DACA.
Yeah, I that could be a strategy on our mayor's part. Maybe, I don't know. I got to do more research before I open my mouth more in depth about this, because he is running for state senate. Am I right?
No, he's
or
running
what's he running for? Yeah,
House of Representatives.
House of Representatives for Skloski's position. You're absolutely correct. He and along with 7 others. That's going to be an interesting race. It's a laughable one too. What do you think, Juan?
Well, if you said there's 7 candidates, then I don't know
There's
who's
8
all the
of
7. And you know what? When it's all said and done, who knows how many more candidates are going to be in the race when it's all said and done.
I know, right? Oof, wow.
It does pay well.
It does pay
The
well.
only drawback is you have to run every 2 years.
Yeah,
that's the only drawback to that position.
But here's what I tell people that don't know who to vote for. Look at what they've been doing in the past. And if they're just decided to sign up and start doing stuff that says something, and you know what's even worse? That when they lose the race, they get out of the race, as in they don't do anything in the community anymore. What does that say about that individual? They weren't really in it for the corazón, from the corazón, for the people, or what?
Well, I can speak to that as it relates to running for mayor in my city of East Chicago. There are times when, or some other positions that they run, they lose, and once they lose, you don't see them, just like you just said, until the next election. So that's not the deal there. If you run and you lose, you get involved. If you haven't been involved in the community, continue to be involved in the community until the next election.
Don't just get out. But that says a lot about you. So you're telling on yourself without anybody saying anything. 53 minutes after the hour, our brothers are getting ready for the sizzle. Yes, they're getting ready here. So 219-885-1371, and we're going to ask the next show, if possible, they can still give away some tickets. We're going to leave them here at the station. So call 219-885-1371 for a pair of tickets for Scrooge, a Bah Humbug musical. We have a show tomorrow at 1 o'clock and at 5:30. And please leave your name and phone number to the board operator, and we will leave the tickets here at the station so that you can pick them up. Anything else, Juanito? Oh, tomorrow we also have a special guest coming in, and that's Frank Mervan, the township trustee. He's coming in not as a candidate. He is coming in as the township trustee. He has not been on our show since, we were in Maryville.
Ages, isn't it?
Yeah, about 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago. So he's now finally made some time to come on our show and talk to us about what he has done and what he is doing as a township trustee. And I do want to tell everyone at the township that thank you for always coming through. When I send a family to you, you make sure you handle it well, quickly, responsibly, and professionally, and able to bless them. I just want to thank you, Frank, and thank you, Margarita, and Cindy, and everybody, Hilda, everybody, Verge, that are there at the township trustee for always making a difference. We want to thank you. And so we'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock with Frank Mervan from the township, Northwest Township.
And December the 19th is the next presidential election debate.
And you just have to say that, didn't you?
Yes.
Cuídense mucho, quiéranse. Espero que sigan adelante y que sigan los buenos para adelante. Y cuídense, quiéranse, respétense. Y más que nada, hagan lo mejor que se pueda hoy, porque mañana no está prometido. Tomorrow is not promised, so make the best of today. Do what you can today and don't leave it for tomorrow.
I did text one of my nieces, because yesterday was their birthday.
Happy belated birthday to Juan's nieces.
To
Feliz
thank
día de todas
God.
las Lupitos.
To thank God, all 3 of them, for God allowing them to live.
That's
another
right,
year.
God first. All right, peace to you guys. Hasta la próxima. Nos vemos.
Okay.
Until next time. Say bye, Juan.
Goodbye, adios.
See you later, alligator. here, watching and listening here on Nuestra Comunidad. Get out the way, Juan. Get out the way, Juan. Turn the camera off first. See you later. Bye.
Adios.